Hey, get away. Alex here, and this is going to be probably a very controversial episode, even though I'm not going to go too much into the politics. We're going to be talking about, well, since I'm in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I'm going to be calling them Islas Malvinas, but they also known as Falkland Islands. That's how you might see them in your map. Well, depends what kind of map you are using. Why I want to talk about these islands, because I have been there with a cruise ship around 7 years ago. I've been there several times. So I decided to share my own experience and some of my very personal, very individual thoughts on this subject. If you're up to this, stay tuned. So why I decided to talk about Islas Malvinas? First of all, I always was a curious person and I was always into geography. So let's check out where the Islas Malvinas actually located. They are located in the Atlantic Ocean or South Atlantic Ocean, not far away from the coast of Argentina. You can see that geographically. I'm not gonna dive into the history. I personally have watched a couple of videos about Falkland Islands / Islas Malvinas before shooting this. There's a couple of videos not only from the point of view of Falkland Islands, but also from the point of view of Islas Malvinas, because, you know, if you want to try to understand the cause of the conflict and the war that happened here, then you obviously need to try to understand both sides. This video, it's not a try to figure out who's right, who's wrong in this conflict. There was a conflict, there was a war more than 40 years ago. And I would say like this, from what I understand, there was some sort of agreement between UK and Argentina. Since UK was, let's put it this way, in charge of those islands, they were using, sometimes maybe abusing some, or maybe extracting too much of mineral resources. And, you know, it's never about people. It's about the land, the mineral resources and their extraction. Anyway, and that's that. From what I understand, there was a lot of, you know, misunderstanding in some agreements between the countries, and then somebody was trying to solve it, and then there was this junta that tried to get some points in front of their people, so they decided to claim the Malvinas back. And then there was a response of UK led by Margaret Thatcher that time, and it was kind of strong, but that also led to collapse of that dictatorship or the junta in Argentina, which was kind of, again, I'm not trying to justify anything, but if you look at it, the tendency or the trend of the politics of the years was a kind of better outcome for Argentina because they get rid of the junta. So basically that war was a trigger to a dictatorship to collapse. Anyway, there's a lot of movies here. Just do me a favor and check them out from the perspective of Argentinians, check them out from perspective of UK. But as I mentioned before, there's a lot of people, especially young people, they don't have any idea of what happened here and why those places are so important, and why it's so important to know the history to prevent those wars, those conflicts to happen in the future. Hopefully never happen. Well, one example of my beautiful Ukraine, you see it's not that easy, but at least we can try. I also feel a little bit related to Argentinos through Falkland Islands, because probably, especially the older ones that were witnessing that period, maybe understand us Ukrainians who has their territory occupied. You cannot obviously compare those things. They are different, they have different nature and stuff. But in this way, I feel like I am related. And because I also feel like I just want to share some of my thoughts, because a lot of people here that I've met in Argentina, Argentinos and also expats, they don't know much. Some of them, they never even notice those messages about Islas Malvinas, living here for, you know, ages or years or months. Nobody even paying attention. I don't want to say that I'm unique. It's just my curiosity, and again, as I mentioned, I was always into geography. So I want to tell my story. Especially, you know, being Ukrainian, there's already enough wars and conflicts in my life. Well, basically that's why I'm right now in beautiful Argentina, because I cannot go home. I'm just gonna be talking about that as a, you know, stupid foreigner who just, you know, here he saw something, so he decided to talk about it. But anyway, also visiting those places. I want to talk about this because I think that Falkland Islands is still a wound for many Argentinos. The example of that, it's also because they have all over the country those posters, the stickers, the messages which says Islas Malvinas son argentinos. Here are a couple examples of those messages. Like the square dedicated to heroes of Islas Malvinas in the very heart of Buenos Aires. Or for example, sticker in the Airbnb that I'm renting with Islas Malvinas. Or on any, you know, fans, some graffiti, some messages on those pictures all over the Buenos Aires. You can also find the mentioning of those islands on the money, the notes or bank notes of Argentinian pesos. Also, as you see, there is a little bit of Antarctica included there. What an interesting possession. You can find the message about Falkland Islands on any sort of transportation, from buses to trains, and also in some shops there are some privileges or priority for veterans of Islas Malvinas. Now see this sort of butterfly. Well, Argentinos, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's not just a butterfly. It's again, maybe it's my vivid imagination, but it looks like Islas Malvinas. In this video, you can see a couple of footages that I took around 7 years ago visiting Falkland Islands, Islas Malvinas with a cruise ship. And they might be a little bit random. However, at that time, you know, I was not focusing on vlogging. I was just, you know, shooting something on the go. There was a vlog for my family and friends, and there's actually 2 episodes that I've put together on Falkland Islands, and you still can find them somewhere on my channel. It was way before I was, you know, focusing on growing this channel. For now, I'm not going to be deleting them. You still can find them somewhere, if you want to check out the original one. However, those times I was combining speaking Ukrainian, speaking English, speed up the video a bit because I thought that I'm speaking too slowly. Anyway, you got that option now in YouTube. If you think that I'm speaking slowly, you always can speed up the video. So I remember when we were here in Falkland Islands, Islas Malvinas, around 7 years ago. There was Norwegian Sun, the name of the ship, and we were doing the Latin American season. Hi, this time I just want to show you how the Falkland Islands looks like. The last time I had a chance to be only there next to the pier. Right now you can see the capital of Falkland Islands, Stanley, and the Gulf next to the capital right here. This time this is really the end of the world, I would say, like this. After this, Antarctica. So we actually were having a lot of guests from Argentina, because some of the cruises we were doing from Buenos Aires as a home port, or some of the cruises we were doing from Valparaiso in Chile, and also Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Now, Stanley, the capital of Falkland Islands, it's a small town with the population maybe about 1,000 people. I think the overall population of Falklands, it's a little bit more than 3,000 people, together with like the soldiers or the military base that serving all that jazz. There's like maybe, I don't know, half of the population. Anyway, so it's not even a, you know, to call it capital. Yeah, technically it's a capital, but it's literally a small village, not even a town. But to get there, they don't have a pier. They don't have a pier for cruise ships. So when cruise ships arrive, they are anchoring in around 20-30 minutes tendering drive from the capital, from Stanley. So usually using the tender small boats that delivers you there. And there was a couple of times that we couldn't anchor because of the weather condition. There's inclement weather there all the time. I don't even remember. Maybe there was one day or so throughout the whole season when the weather was actually nice and sunny, but most of the time it's pretty rough weather and rough seas there, from what I remember. And we were there during the summer, the Latin American summer or the Argentinian summer. So for you to get to the small pier in Stanley, you need to take a tender. And there was a couple of times, I remember that, or at least once, when we canceled the port because of the rough seas. And just imagine, there was people, that time I realized how important it is. There was some Argentinos who basically were like, I don't want to say that they were like protesting, but, or not the riots, but there were some Argentinos who were complaining that captain decided to cancel the port, and captain always thinks about safety, so his word is about everything. Anyway, so there was somebody who were complaining, but when I find out why they're complaining, I kind of, as a human, I understand them. There was a lady, and she was telling that she lost her husband there, and that was the only opportunity for her to see his grave. Again, from the perspective of a human, I understand her, and it hurts, and it's not easy. I think at that time when we were there, it wasn't easy to get to as an Argentinian to visit Islas Malvinas. You can, as a territory of UK, you probably can take either the flight from London there, or I don't know, maybe a boat, but I'm not even sure. So there is no flights from Argentina to Islas Malvinas. Anyway, so one of the ways for Argentinians to see the Falkland Islands, so-called Falkland Islands, was via the cruise. So for many of them, they were actually very eager, and they wanted to, to see what it is all about, why they are so special. So many people lost their lives in that war. People are arguing so much about that territory. So as you see, I'm trying to be politically correct. That's the first time I'm shooting probably this kind of controversial video. And let's just go to my particular experience of visiting Islas Malvinas, Falkland Islands, those days. So we were there a couple of times. I remember also once when we were there with a cruise ship, on the way back, there was a rough seas. So I remember on the pier, which is like a small parking lot, just not even a pier, it's just a small parking lot already surrounded by several buildings right there. It was a congregation of, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people at some point. They start congregating because they stopped the tendering operation because of the rough seas. So maybe there was a moment when during maybe hour or two, there was only 1 or 2 tender boats with a capacity of maybe, I don't know, 60, 80 people. And as I mentioned before, there was around 20-30 minutes ride from the ship via the tender to the pier. So just imagine, and people who want to coming back from the excursions, they are, they standing there piling up. Also some crew members like me there want to get back on board because we have duties and stuff. And it's always very controversial because you kind of want to let the guest go first, but at the same time, you need to be back, because if you're not going to be back there on time, it's not just you going to be in trouble, you might just lose your job and stuff. But we're not going to be talking about that in this episode. There's going to be more videos about my working experience on the cruise ships. Or you also can check a couple of videos that I already shoot about cruising. They're going to be somewhere here. So yeah, I remember once we were just standing for almost 2 hours waiting for that tender until they continue, and the line of, it looks like 1,000 people or so disappeared. So when you're cruising, always take into consideration the weather. It's a very serious factor. When I visited for the first time, there was me traveling or riding a bicycle. I also went to the place. There was a shuttle bus, and I think there was around $10 or 10 quids UK money or whatever. For the shuttle bus, which would drop you off it next to the place where you can see the penguins in the natural environment, and it was so nice to see. I think that was the first time that I saw penguins, you know, like very close. Like basically you could literally touch them. You could not, but I mean they were like very close. This is nice beach where the penguins are.
Hey Bob, stay where you are. Bobby. Hey bro. Take a look right here. Bobby, say hello. Or whatever is your name. Okay, this is my feet and this is penguin. What's your name, Bobby?
Thank you.
Hey Bobby. Bobby, take a look right here. Hi mister. I understand that it's too much attention for you, but if you could just smile. Bobby. It's so cool, huh? You guys, how are you doing? Bobby and Tom.
Here you go, guys. There's a few more. Yay! Penguins on the Falklands done. So that was my short visit of Gypsy Cove, place where the penguins are. This is Stanley behind my back. This is nice beach where the penguins are. Yeah, I was amazed by the nature, by the white sandy beach, but also white sandy beach and not very nice weather. I remember most of the time it was raining, most of the time it was windy. I also cycled to different parts of the island. Well, had that time small folding bicycle, and I, you know, obviously couldn't cycle a lot, but I usually have 2-3 hours of free time, so I could have go in different directions. And there was also one episode, I'm gonna show you the videos right now from there, when I remember I just, you know, walking around on those dunes, and then at some point I see that, you know, just, you know, shooting and stuff, and I see there's like a fence and it says something. So I'm like, okay, it's probably, you know, the zone that protects the creatures who lives there, those penguins and stuff, so they don't want people to, you know, to go there. But then I approach the plate which were saying something like, be careful mines, and I was like, oh, it's not about penguins, it's about humans. And I was like, all right, let me just use the same tracks and let me just go back to the road, to my bicycle. Well, I was thinking that it's forbidden because of some creatures right there, but it's written, it's mines right there, danger. Oh my goodness. So that barbed wire protected me from losing my life, basically, because again I was thinking that this is the protection for some wildlife, but no, it's for humans not to go to that area with the plenty mines. By the way, fun fact, well, it's not very fun, but you know what's the most mined, or which country is the most mined country in the world as of now? Unfortunately, Ukraine. Yeah, because of ongoing war. So people, make love, not war, please. And yeah, that was the moment when I got a little spiel about war and the impact on the nature that each and every war has, because it's not only about the humans. Like right now, the ongoing war in Ukraine has a huge impact on environment. Not only people are suffering, also the animals, any other creatures, and the nature in general. So it's not good anyway. I'm nobody to you, but I feel that I have to tell you this.
Syria, Philippines, I don't know. Make love, no war. Alright? Once again, I'm nobody to you, but I feel that I have to tell you this. I have to remind you this. Best wishes from Falkland Islands, Islas Malvinas.
By the way, if you want to support my lovely army, there's a link down below. My PayPal. We Ukrainians, we obviously and usually donating for different charity organization or our army that first of all gonna help me to be back home, or gonna give me a hope to be back home one day, and also it might save some lives or protect some lives. You can donate only if you have extra dollar or so. Remember, take care of yourself first, and then before helping the others, like in airplane, you know, protect yourself, take care of yourself first, and then focus on helping people around you. Thank you in advance. Let's get back to Islas Malvinas. So yeah, the nature there, it's crazy. It's very unique. I haven't seen the sceneries, the views like that before, never ever in my life. It's like the other planet. How I'm gonna be remembering Falkland Islands, Islas Malvinas, as a place with the most beautiful sunsets of all times. Yes, I'm just speechless by the beauty of it and the amount of colors and the expression that that night sky present to us. Well, you know, working on cruise ships for 12 years, I've seen many beautiful sunsets. It was one of. Another one I believe I saw somewhere in between Tasmania and Australia, but that particular one right here in Falkland Islands that I've seen, that was one of the best sunsets that I've ever seen, and I still remember that. Now a little bit of a conclusion on Falkland Islands. It's in a place that you definitely need to visit. If you're a world traveler and you want to see some unique place, then you know that's the place you want to put on your bucket list. Would I live there, or would I suggest somebody live there? Because of inclement weather, because of rough seas that happens there. It's very rainy environment, windy environment. It's not for everybody. It's for really, you know, like tough people. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Alaska, but I think more remote. Also, if you're a young person, it's gonna be a little bit boring for you to you know, to be there or to live there, since they don't have many people. And I was talking to a couple of youngsters there. They were saying that, you know, once they are graduated, they got a school there, they just going to study in UK, and usually some of them just staying there because of the opportunity of the London or big cities and stuff. And yeah, one of the people who were working there, I think I was asking some lady at that time, like, how do you guys what do you guys do, what do you do for socializing, to having fun? They were saying that have like they have like a bar, maybe only one bar, and it's open I believe not even every day, and if they have something, it's usually like a little disco with some soldiers who's serving there. It's again, as for me, this is the place to visit, to see once, or you know, staying there for a couple of days, do the check, I visit the place. But you know, to live there, I don't know. If you guys from there, anybody from there, wow, proud of you. I'm gonna be remembering about this place as a place of penguins. You can visit those places being nature enthusiast, if you love doing bird watching or any other species watching. You're gonna find a lot of the nature there. I would say it's only about the nature. Place of a history, place that should remind us that we need to be mindful while using the weapon, you know, mining the surroundings and stuff, because the future generation might be living there, in our land after us, because you know, we think that we can possess the land, but the land gonna be there, or it was before us, generations and thousands, maybe millions years ago, and probably gonna stay thousands and millions, or hopefully after us. I'm not sure if I've expressed myself clear enough. Just want to give a little bit of a highlight on those remote places that I visit. It might inspire some of you to visit this place as well. It might give an idea for those of you who never heard about that place, to, you know, maybe considering learning more about that. Again, I was not focusing on the historical aspects of the conflict. I was just giving you a little bit of details of my personal experience visiting Islas Malvinas, Falkland Islands. And I wish you all peace, love, and unity. Thank you very much for watching.
Time to say bye-bye to Falkland Islands.
That's my story on Islas Malvinas. And I'll see you in the next one.
And as a bonus in this final clip, I'm gonna be dancing a so-called the penguin dance. Well, my version of penguin dance. Why we call this penguin dance? Because in Ukrainian it's called Tanec Pingvina. It's a very famous song by one famous band called Scriabin, and Kuzma, the front man who passed away unfortunately, but this song is something that always going to be reminding me of him. It's a very sarcastic, very unique song, and I decided to dedicate this dance and this movie to Kuzma, the front man of Scriabin, because he was extraordinary man, great musician, unbelievable host, big time entertainer.